Afternoon whānau. Not quite an early morning vlog today, obviously. Just flat out whānau. Need to change it up a bit. But anyway, whānau, we've got a few missions again. This is a big one. This one. So for today's mahi whānau, we're going to start out in Longreach. So on this particular day, we started in Longreach. I stayed at my cousin Nicola. I think it was my cousin Nicola's house. My cousin Francis was there, and ended up staying at her house, well, their house for the night. And when I woke up in the morning, I had a white VT Commodore at this time that I had to drive home. We had relocated, back to Melbourne, whatever. And this is my home trip back home. So I've driven from Longreach all the way back to Rockhampton. Couple of screenshots here again, showing you the trip. So I've left, let's say I've left Longreach at 7 in the morning, whatever. I've stopped off at Emerald. I've brought myself my tools at their local Bunnings or Mitre 10, whatever, whatever. Bunnings, I'm assuming. I don't think they got a Mitre 10 there, actually. Mitre 10, not even there, whānau. Let's go with Bunnings. Stopped at the Bunnings in Emerald, grabbed my tools, and then shot through to Rockhampton. I think this was a public holiday too, whānau, actually, just quietly. I'm not too sure. If it wasn't a public holiday was on the end of the weekend or whenever it was. But anyway, travelling through to Rockhampton, whānau. Again, a couple of screenshots here of the Rockhampton Bunnings. It's not there anymore. It's closed now. But this Rockhampton Bunnings, it was just it's pretty much the same. So how I'll explain this, right? So there's a company in Australia called Wesfarmers, right? And Wesfarmers own they used to own Coles. I'm not sure if they still own Kmart. They own things like Bunnings, Kmart, used to own Coles, and a whole heap of other things. One of the biggest corporations in Australia, whānau. Well, they used to own Bunnings, and hence why they had the same change machines that used to, cater for their tills. That's why the Bunnings were the same. That's why I was always curious if the Kmarts had the same things, But that's another story. whānau. So we got to the we got to the Rockhampton. We got to Rockhampton about 7, 8 o'clock at night, whānau. So it was still probably daylight. Waiting for night time, and I remember I hit this one early, whānau. None of this one in the morning carry on. I hit it pretty much as soon as it got dark. I'll throw you some screenshots where I parked my car and where I entered and all that. So we've gone through the side window this time. I've corded the window out, pulled the the pane of glass out, put it to the side, and crept in and crept all the way down to the the business end. Took care of business, bag another 20k, whānau. But this is where the story gets interesting. Well, for me anyway, because I've just driven from Longreach to Rockhampton, which is a solid 8, 9, 10 hour drive, whatever that was. Took care of business, boom. And I remember taking care of business, going and parking in the McDonald's in Rockhampton, having a feed, counting the loot, seeing roughly what I got. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's still early. It's only 10 o'clock. And I, done some, calculations on how far Rockhampton is from Brisbane. And I calculated that if I boosted, which I did, whānau, I don't condone this, but I was speeding, whānau. I was trying to beat the clock. I got to the Brisbane. It must have been 3, 4 in the morning, whatever, 3 in the morning, plenty of time, still enough time. I only need 4 or 5 minutes, whānau. Got to Brisbane, put into Brisbane, still got my tools, whānau. Normally I'm tossing my tools in that, but I still needed my tools because, I've travelled from Rockhampton speeding, far, dicing with danger, high risk, whānau, don't recommend it. But got to New Farm. The suburb was New Farm on this occasion, a couple of screenshots again. So I've parked my white VT Commodore, that's one of the cars that the family had at the time. I parked it at the back. I'll show you some screenshots where I parked in this back exit. It was a fire exit, but this time I've gone through the front. Same thing. Actually, no, just the good girl sliding doors. I'll show you some screenshots again. Sliding doors, straight in, bang bang, 3-minute count done. But this time, instead of going out the front door, I've just carried on back down through the aisles, gone through to their back storage, and looking for the green signs, whānau, the exit signs. So bang, I've smacked it straight through the exit signs, straight out to my my car, bang, whānau. 7 o'clock in the morning, it was a busy day, whānau, lots of driving, but 7 in the morning, quick 8 hour drive, whatever, to Rockhampton, bang, you know, whatever amount of time that took to take care of that business, bang, another drive to Brisbane, and then I went from far out, whānau, and then, so I took care of that business again, whānau, and then because my family were in Melbourne at this time, whānau, so I was driving back home, right, and I've called my family to meet me in Sydney, and I've driven from Brisbane now and carried on and met them in Sydney, but I got to Sydney and my family hadn't gotten to Sydney from Melbourne yet, so I carried on further and met them in the middle of Melbourne and Sydney, and then, you know, we caught back up and boom, you know, I'm loaded up another 40k in the pocket from, you know, from 0 to 40, because I, you know, just quietly fun, I just gotten out of jail, you know, been a dickhead, you know, being a shit can and that, all that carry on. That's another story. We're going to get into all these yarns, whānau. That's a later yarn, you know. We're going to do a bit of a pivot too, whānau. So I haven't worked out exactly how this channel is going to work, so I'll give you a bit of an insight right now. So ideally, I've wanted to show my growth. Well, not so much my growth. I just want to show you where I started from, right, whānau, and some of the things I've had to deal with and cope with, and some of the struggles in life. And by showing that, I hope to show the growth now, and you know, show you some of the, you know, how life has smashed me down, you know, whatever, life's life, whānau, you know, how life can impact on us, and then how you have to sometimes, you know, build back up and overcome some of this carry on. But yeah, whānau, we're going to do a bit of a pivot, you know, we're going to go into like mental well-being, you know, just mainly mental well-being and men's health and all that carry on, whānau, because I'm pretty passionate about that these days, especially for the younger ones, the younger generations. They have a huge opportunity to not do things like us, whānau. And what I've learned now, especially having sons, and you know, I wasn't there for especially my 3 older sons, and that pains me that I haven't been able to be in their lives how I would have hoped. You know, like I've always wanted to be an active father, and I always tried to be, you know, the best version of myself, but hey, I'm human, and I had my own struggles and stuff to deal with, and I didn't cope very well with that as a young man. But I'm well better equipped these days, whānau, so hopefully I can share, you know, my growth, whānau, and by showing where I've come from, and showing the tribulations and the journey of my life, I can then show you how I've overcome, and you know, some of the things I've used from prisons and stuff like that, whānau. So I'm hoping to you know, do a bit of a pivot soon, but that's another 2 down, whānau. So we've got another couple more. So while I've got my family in Sydney, I smack out another couple more in Sydney. The same thing, yeah, that was the thing, whānau. So right as I was driving down from Brisbane, boom, I pulled straight into Sydney. As I'm driving through Sydney, I pull in, you coming through Hornsby, I think it is, and as soon as you come off the highway and you hit the, you know, whatever you want to call it, the main road in Sydney, you hit this suburb called Taramara, and you go through and you keep coming through Lincoln or something like that. We'll show you some maps of there on the next video, but these are where I scoped out, you know, my next ones, whānau. So on my trip home and all that, I scoped me out some, you know, my next targets, so I'm in a new city now, a new state, and I'm scoping all the way, whānau. So every time I'm driving somewhere, I'm pulling into the local Coles and Bunnings and all that, and I'm trying to scope my next, you know, targets, whānau, because that's the name of the game for me. I'm, you know, traveling this entire country, just trying to beat them from, you know, fixing up their shortcomings and take advantage of the money that's lying around, whānau, because, you know, $20,000 in 3 minutes, it's, yeah, I suppose you just have to be there to know, whānau. But to all the supporters again, once again, like, subscribe, share and all that stuff. Stay motivated, whānau. Yeah, hashtag get involved, whānau. Modi ora.